this thing on.
Hi there, I'm Farmer Brad, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to make an automatic chicken water bucket with a 5-gallon bucket and a Farmer Brad do-it-yourself kit. Now we'll winterize this setup by using a Farm Innovators heated element that's 250 watts, and then during the winter time we'll just have to manually refill. So let me take you to our local tractor supply store where I got these items. Some items in order to make a 5-gallon heated chicken water that during the summertime you can hook it up to the garden hose and it refills automatically. Let's go get some items.
Mama say, go big or go home.
So let me go over what I got at the store. A Tractor Supply 5-gallon bucket and lid. I got a 100-foot extension cord because where this chicken run is not close to power. So 100 feet extension cord, and I got the outdoor kind. I also got the cord connector, which helps waterproof the connection between the heat element and the extension cord. If possible, plug in the heated element without an extension cord, but you don't always have electrical outlets where you need them. My plan next year is to eventually trench a line here. So here's the Farmer Brad do-it-yourself kit. Let me show you what's included. This is available on Farmer Brad, and it's a great way if you have a container such as a 5-gallon bucket or a 50-gallon barrel and you want to make your own automatic chicken water. Now the temperature recently took a nosedive, and we had a pretty decent snow cover, but it was the first snowfall of the year, and I really wanted to get this set up because my chickens back here are needing water and I don't want to have to be breaking ice this winter. So what's included in the Farmer Brad automatic chicken water do-it-yourself kit is a blue tube, a garden hose adapter that connects to the blue tube, a float valve, and 4 horizontal water nipples. Now the reason why you want to use the horizontal water nipples is it has a rubber gasket there and it keeps all the water inside the bucket. If I was to use a cup like this in the cold climate, this would freeze, crack, and leave a big mess. I also have several cordless drills. What you'll need is a 1/2 inch, and that's going to be for the float valve, and then a 11/32 or a 3/8 drill bit, and that will be for the water nipples. So the first thing we'll do is we'll flip this bucket over, and in this case, since we have 4 water nipples, we can go ahead and place these around evenly. Now what I like to do, since the float will be here, is I like to offset these 45 degrees. Now since I buy a lot of horizontal water nipples, they come with this adapter that you can put in the drill, and it makes it a lot easier to put these in. But you can hand turn them or use pliers, but they taper in or out, so as you screw this in more, it makes a better connection. You don't need to put Teflon tape on these, but they work without Teflon tape. They do have this rubber gasket there, but really that rubber gasket is not necessary. It just creates some space in between the edge of this and the edge of the bucket. So I have a Sharpie here, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make my marks along the top. And I like using relative measurements, so I try to find something that I have around the house. In this case, a 1/4 works great. Ideally, you want the water nipples to be about 1 inch away from the bottom. So here I have my 1/4. So I have a mark there. Now I'll put this 1/4 here. Just put a mark all around. So I'm gonna put my 32nd drill in there. I'm gonna switch it out and put this little adapter on there. Then you put a little bit of pressure on it. And as it gets snug, then you align it so that this longer part would be towards the bottom of the bucket. There we go. There we have it. Now what I like to do, so this is the 1/2 inch drill bit, and I'd say go about 1/2 inch down. That made a nice hole there. Now with this float valve, when I send these out, I go ahead and adjust the screw on here to get it in the right orientation. But if you don't, then you'll need a small Phillips screwdriver. Now the parts of this, it has a float, so during warm weather, water will come up to here, and if the float isn't pushed against that, it will allow more water into the bucket. Now there is this rubber gasket, and there's a little notch on the top that you get it lined with. And so the rubber gasket goes inside. Then there's this harder plastic that goes on the outside, and then this threads onto there. And you want to make sure that you get it really snug, because if the float valve turns sideways, then it won't work. Okay, so we have the inside part of the float valve in place. Now the outside comes like this, and if it doesn't have a black O-ring on there, then you'll need to put Teflon tape. But when I ship these out, if I see it like this, I go ahead and put Teflon tape on it. And then you go ahead and carefully thread that in there, making sure not to cross thread. And then I typically have this pointing out to the side. And then you can just take this tube and push it in there, and it works like a shark bite. And if you need to release it for some reason, you push in on there and then pull out. Once again, push on this sort of collar and you pull it out. The great thing about that is if you need this tubing to go through hardware cloth, you don't have to cut the hardware cloth. You just pop it off like that and connect it. And so just a reminder that the Farmer Brad Do-It-Yourself Kit is available on Farmer Brad. At the timing of this recording is $40. Prices may go up in the future due to supply chain issues. The other thing I wanted to mention too is in this garden hose adapter, we have two of these in here. I go ahead and add this extra one in here because some customers may have garden hose spigots that have more threads than others and not. So you can remove it and just try it with the black one in there. If it's not enough and it doesn't make a good enough connection, go ahead and add this separate gasket right in there. Okay, on to the next part. We have this bucket lid here, but we need a way to create a vent on the top. And a great way to do that is by, now I went to a hardware store and I got this 1.5 inch test cap. It doesn't need to be this, but basically you want to cut a little hole in here, and this 1.5 inch test cap ends up being the right size for getting a electrical cord through here with the heated element. So what I have to do that, just because I have this spaced out exactly right, is this device. You can have it do various sizes of holes there. So I'm going to get this lined up and put it in the middle. Got a little bit of the table, oopsies. Okay, so I have a hole there, and this is a reaming device for just smoothing it out a little bit. So I gotta make it a little bit bigger.
Go big or go home.
And you want it somewhat snug so that it doesn't fly out or fall off during this. Okay, a little more. Okay, that's snug, and that goes on top of the bucket. Now here's the Farm Innovator 50 watt heated element. It's good for 25 gallons of water, and this one is 250 watts. Now they do make a 150 watt one if you can find it, but this is what I was able to find at my local Tractor Supply store. And this is good because it's safe on plastic. So we'll remove this cap, open the lid, and we'll drop this down in there. Because this is November when I'm filming this video, and in East Central Indiana, it's getting colder, and we're starting to get to the point where things are really freezing. We just had a decent amount of snowfall the other day. Okay, so this cord comes out of here, and then here's the metal handle. And what you want to do is mount the water nipples, the horizontal water nipples, to be about head level. And so I'm going to also show you that if you have some rope, it's nice to be able to adjust the height of it. So I'm going to show you, this is how I make like a lark's head knot. And the reason why I like the lark's head knot is because it bites down on the handle. So you don't have to worry about it going from side to side. And I picked up this rope at Tractor Supply as well. I'm not sure if I'll need it because I also purchased this at a local hardware store, and this is rated, I think, for 125 pounds of weight. And so if I recall correctly, each gallon of water weighs about a little over 8 pounds. So this bracket should definitely hold it, but I'm not sure if I'll mount this low enough. Okay, now we're gonna move, and I'll show you me setting it up in the chicken run. See if, so it looks like I can fish this behind there. That looks like that should be about the right height. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this in place. I'm going to add this back in there, line it up. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and place this inside the bucket so I don't lose it. Now another benefit of putting this hole in the bucket lid is that then that gives you an opening to not have to worry about taking the lid off, because manually taking the lid off is not fun. So then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and route this outside of the chicken run. Then we'll hook it up to the extension cord. And since I'm putting it directly on here, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and bend that a little bit, and then that will help keep it more stable. So now I'm going to open up this cord connect. This has, let's see, has some gaskets in there. So what we end up doing is, to help make that watertight seal, put this foam, feed this through here. You place that there, and let me get the extension cord. So I'll go ahead and plug these together like that. Then you take the other part, there you go. You have a nice connection to try to keep the weather out. Okay, so I have the plug plugged in now. Now to fill up the water. So here you can add a funnel and a 5-gallon bucket to pour in here, or a watering can, but unfortunately I can't find mine for the life of me. Okay, I've topped it off. Now I'll go ahead and remove the other chicken waters here. Go ahead and let's place that funnel right there. So it's gotten late enough that the chickens are starting to go inside. And so let's say you have a chicken that's never had an opportunity to give these horizontal water chicken nipples a try. So what I recommend doing is taking the leader of the pack and pushing its beak up against it for it to know that this is where water is coming from, and then they'll be interested with it. Unfortunately, this one knows it's bedtime, and so she's wanting to get back to the rest of her flock. But yeah, pretty much you just take their beak and get it wet and remove the other waters. They'll pick up to it right away. If they don't pick up to it, if they don't go to it, then maybe put a raisin on here or some other treat that would entice them to drink from the water nipples. Now, I don't recommend these horizontal water nipples for baby chicks. I'd say let them get 5 to 10 weeks before putting them on to these horizontal water nipples, because when they're smaller birds, they may not have enough ability to push in order to get the water out of it. But this is a great setup for the winter time. Now, this heated element will not cause the water to be really warm. It pretty much turns on when the temperature gets like close, well, like I think it turns on at 35 degrees, and it will just keep the water temperature just above freezing. And so this heated element is good for 25 gallons. 5 gallons is nothing to it. And let's say you have some birds that are different sizes, then what I'd recommend is putting like a wood block so that the smaller ones can hop up and get the water. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully that helps you get prepared for winter with your flock here, and having a great solution for not only the winter but also the summer. So remember, during the summer you can hook it up to a garden hose and it refills automatically. During the winter time you'll have to manually refill it, but with the heated element it will keep the water from freezing. And you want to stay away from those cups style drinkers because those will freeze during the winter time. Make sure to check down in the description of this video and I'll have links to everything to make the heated chicken water for the winter. Thanks for watching, and remember, now is a great time to homestead. Until next time, take care.